Star Drift, I have a topic for Jordan from Arcade Tunes. He's a YouTuber, but he's really
poor YouTuber.
He's really no. You're rich.
No, I'm not poor like that. I'm poor at YouTube.
Okay. He's going to tell us about what it's like to be a shop owner, a car tuner, someone that had the fastest F80 M3 in the world. Was it the world or just?
I think so. I think it still holds all records.
Okay. Anyways. He's been doing crazy stuff, and now he got into drifting. He's like a year deep in drifting, or 2 years deep in drifting. He has the F80 M3 drift car, which is amazing. He built a purpose-built, like rotisseried, painted all over the bottom, the top, the inside, caged, race card out. M240?
M240.
A 240 MSX?
Something.
Yes. So anyways, he's going to tell us what he's learned about drifting and how he has flourished as a tuner, a car builder, because I'm sure you've learned a ton of stuff about car building now.
Yeah, I have for sure.
So tell me those specific things that you've learned about car building, specifically from Drift Week and drifting.
Step one, Loctite everything. Brake clean, Loctite everything. But in reality, I learned that like, when I work on cars and I tune someone's car, there's a lot of things engine-wise like can make or break your car. In drifting, it's the same. Like you see when people out here, like there'll be people here that'll break an axle 50 times, right? And then break the same thing 1,000 times because they're doing something wrong. There's a lot of little things you can do to like make the car work better. I don't know everything about building a car. My car, if you look up close, is like not that nice, and there's things that can be done better. But like from the tuning perspective of like all the little details that cost nothing often do more and affect more than the expensive things. You buy a $5,000 turbo, whatever, crazy motor, all these things, then don't know what you're doing, your wastegate line comes off, you blow your motor. It happens to everyone. So I learned is like the little details matter, like everything being torque right, everything being Loctite if possible. All that makes a huge difference. Like you see that all the time on everyone's cars pretty much?
Yeah. 1 second. Sai, can you put your headphones in and check
and
if
see
you have
if you hear us? It's super loud.
It's getting so loud.
I tried to get louder.
They turned the car on and then it got louder. But we're gonna keep rolling. So what'd you ask me?
Oh, no, I was saying you see the same thing. Like
all the little
details matter more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things that everybody, when they first get into cars, I'm sure you hear somebody talk about like, oh, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna build the car right. I'm gonna build something with all spherical joints. Oh, it's gonna get quiet. I'm gonna build something with a GTX to the most expensive turbo possible.
Yep.
I'm gonna build something with just, unobtainium expensive parts, where what breaks is either you do something dumb, and like if you're a rotary guy, an apex seal goes through your most expensive turbo and takes it out, or you bump a curb, or you forget to tighten something, or a bolt falls out of an arm and the car falls on the ground and breaks. I mean, we see lots of angle kits. Yeah.
They were like, oh, I don't want to say company, my angle kit, this broke, and you could see the bolts this long and the hind joints this long. It broke here, but there's still full thread in the arm, aka it backed out halfway before it broke. It's like nut and bolt checking. But yeah, I learned like all the little details, make sure everything's perfectly clean, hardware-wise. I never even anticipated. So now I work on normal customers' cars. I have my guys, everything suspension-wise, they Loctite everything now. Even on normal road cars, just because there's no harm in it. Like it still comes apart easily. But that little details always still matter. It's still, like my car could, it's also interesting how many cars in drifting like blow up and break. Compared to like on the internet, people don't say, oh, I have a turbo BMW and it blew up. Then 3 months later, it blew up again. In drifting, like things break all the time. People out here breaking water pump, power steering pumps, motors, transmissions, clutches at a way higher rate than road cars ever would, I think. So you learn what works, what doesn't work. And then also it's interesting to see who can make things work and who can't.
And of course, Drift Week has the best sponsors such as BC Racing Custom Coilovers, Vape Tasia, Heatwave Visual, NK Wheels, WhatMonstersDo.com. Use the discount code EBISU. And of course, ECU Master for building the James Dean car and coming on this trip with us. Thank you, everyone.
So one of the things I think about is you're a tuner and you're doing aftermarket things to cars.
Yes.
You're putting on different pieces on suspensions, you're tuning the ECU, you're changing out direction injection to port injection to simplify things on your specific car. You're doing all these things. For myself, I want as many stock components from the manufacturer with as much stuff possible. Like in my eyes, you are the worst thing that has ever happened to cars because you modify them and then they go break. Now you are 100% capable of keeping your car together, but that's Jordan. Like imagine the poor sap that you build this specific car? Like, could you imagine building a car? Because I asked Brandon this the other day. Could you imagine building a car for a customer as complicated or like as perfect as yours and handing it to him and be like, have fun?
It would take a lot more time, effort, and money. Like, I don't have a lot of effort into tuning my car, to be very serious. Like, it might sound really weird.
No, but you're still constantly fixing things and working on things.
Yes.
Could you deliver a car like that that's 100% bulletproof for a customer? Because I asked Brandon that. I was like, are you physically capable?
What does he say?
And he's like, no, I took everything off the car and I put it back and it's all aftermarket. It has a aftermarket pistons, rods, tune, and he's going through.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
Not flexing. I'm not saying the best.
Oh, he's saying Brandon's garbage.
No, I'm not saying Brandon's
call him
garbage.
out.
But there's levels to like car building, and like 99% of cars in my shop, something's wrong somewhere that can cause major damage. Almost every time.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying he sucks. I'm saying everyone sucks. I'm not saying I'm the best.
Let me restate something.
Better.
I was gonna say, because Jordan is one man and he's building a whole car. And if you go to like BMW, they have a fleet of 1,000 engineers doing the same job, you know what I mean? And you're just like out there smoking a cigarette, grinding on something, just like, yeehaw, building a car.
More savage than people think. Like people probably think like often like, oh, it's really nice stuff. And like I'm relatively savage with it. Like I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way, like if I was gonna build something like this for a customer, I would not be using as many stock components on the car as I am. And like I know that
you'd be more aftermarket, less stock?
Certain spots, yes and no.
Like what?
What? Like the drive shaft. But the problem is everything aftermarket needs more nut and bolt checking, stuff like that. If the customer can't change a drive shaft, but you put an aftermarket one and they can nut and bolt check it once every few events, that's sometimes easier than swapping actually a drive shaft. But like in terms of the most reliable car in the world, I can't build it. You can't build it. No one here.
I already have it.
Oh, he has it, right? It's an LS car. Cut knuckles. I know, cut knuckles thing. People think it's like bad. I don't care what you say. All these spherical joints all wear out and they vibrate loose because there's no rubber. The rubber is not just for comfort; it's for vibration dampening, and it works.
I like this. Keep talking about specifically
I know.
That. What do you think about angle kits?
What do you think about angle
kits?
kit?
You've had every angle kit now.
Not angle kit. I haven't had every, but I've witnessed a lot. I've witnessed more than I should even say. What do I think? I think personally from seeing people on Drift Week, and this is not a plug, I paid for my angle kit. I got maybe 5% off or 10% off from our friend, but like, from what I've seen, I would buy a wide fab. And you, as a driver, might say it's the best or the worst or the really, really worst driving thing in the world. I'm not a driver for that. I just drive whatever I'm given. From my experience, I'm seeing what's good and what's bad. It seems the wide fab stuff is like, for me, been very reliable. How many times I go off track? I know, don't get mad at me, but I fucking send it. So I know I shouldn't be. I'm like, oh, this is great.
I actually am really surprised anything can survive you.
Dude, so I thought
he's the most ridiculous driver that cares about nothing.
Yeah, zero. So like Dave Egan came in the car, he was like, I was expecting you to be like really bad. That's what he said to me. He said, but you did pretty good.
Hey, look.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
And he's like, I thought you would be really bad because everyone says like Josh is just always scared. That was pretty good. I was like, we're going harder. Right into the woods, you know? So I would like to find the limit, and I know I should drive a little under, but it's okay, I'm not worried. I had a tie rod I bent in Connecticut. I put a jack underneath it. I jacked it back up.
No, that's a Brandon thing, stop it.
I've been driving on that forever. I thought my tie rod had play the other day. I went to take it off. It was just a play in the rack. So this wide fab tie rod that I smashed, went to the woods how many times, had zero play.
Is it one of the Passat ones?
It has their own number. It's like M16, X1, whatever. It's like theirs. I don't know what it is. Yeah. So in terms of angle kits, I think if you're gonna put something aftermarket, that's based on my destructive testing.
Would you put aftermarket suspension, Heim joint, everything on a customer car that was gonna drift? How would you build a customer car to drift? Like this is what I'm asking. You, as all the things you've learned.
Suspension-wise,
what do you know?
Suspension-wise, I would not be scared of putting that on the car. I do think all the aluminum stuff that's like will vibrate loose often, single shear stuff from me like learning different things, like E36 kits, they're all single shear. That's gonna come loose more often because the load's always gonna like wear everything down. I wouldn't be like on my car, like nothing really comes loose, like ever with the wide fab. One thing came loose that I checked the other day, but someone did an alignment on my car and that's the arms they touched. I told them brake clean the threads, move the bolt back and forth and Loctite it. So like, other than that, I'm pretty reliable. My F80, I have wide fab on it now too. I drove it to Florida. I nut bolt checked it. I crashed that car right in Pocono. I bent some things from crashing it, but I mean the car was practically totaled, right? Would you say so? Quarter, door, everything. whatever.
That car's fine.
It's fine, but
it
if
just
you're
has
a normal,
a dent in it.
If you're a normal, it's fixed, right? But if you're a normal person, it'd be like totaled, right? So I broke the steering rack, and the Y strap didn't break, but it got damaged. But I broke the steering rack, I broke arms. So like, I still drive on those arms that are damaged, the Y strap stuff, bent. So like, for me, that's the best. I know stock stuff is really designed to last forever. Like an OEM ball joint's a metal ball, often a plastic joint, so it has some sort of vibration dampening, impact absorption. It's the best ever. Stock stuff. I understand why you say it's the best. Like, you never mess with your car. You never nut and bolt check it. It's great.
I mean, I have a mechanic, but yeah, he doesn't either.
He doesn't either. But there's a reason why you can get away with that. It's because of what you've done and what you do.
Yeah.
Like, you might think certain angle kits drive bad. People say everything. They drive great. Horrible.
No, that's all personal preference and people being wrong. But
people being wrong.
yeah.
But you say you also drive whatever. Your car can be good, bad, toe in, toe out.
Yeah, no, I drive whatever. But I kind of think you'd be that way too. You're a ridiculously like aggressive driver, but you're also a ridiculously competent and like high level car builder. But looking at what you're doing, people would think you're like a hillbilly as you do it.
Oh, if you see me, it's bad. Like, that's the thing. So for a while, for many years, I never wanted to.
But he does everything amazing. That's the thing.
So I once saw someone, right? If you ever see fast Porsches, many years ago, a guy, Eddie Bello. You ever hear of him? World record Porsche. There's a white, old, air-cooled Porsche that would wheelie and go like 9091 years ago. I've seen this guy once port a cylinder head, bolted onto his motor. I go, you're not even gonna look at them and compare them? And he's like, no, it'll be fine. So you have this guy who was like belt sanding pistons, right? And was going 9.0 in Porsches and pulling up and beating all the UGR cars everyone years ago.
That's crazy.
So like the thing was, what did he know that we didn't? He knew what mattered and what didn't.
Yeah.
Versus you have all these guys thinking that like a lot of things matter when they don't, trying to build all these cars. If you just know, it's hard to know, but if you just know like what actually matters, I don't think it's crazy how simple it is. There's only a few people I can tell you that like, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. Like I can tell you one off the top of my head, right? Mike from Max PSI in Jersey gets it. Gets how cars work. Like I've dealt with him for a long time. We've worked very well. He's like, oh, move to Jersey. I can't do that. But your car being super stock is really good. Your car being NA takes away the mechanic out of it. Because the mechanic's always the worst problem. Like Brandon, I don't know if he's a problem, but like you have people that like
He's his own problem.
That's what I'm saying. He might just do one dumb thing because he's working in the car all night. You know, he's tired, and you make one mistake. I make mistakes all the time, so I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but I mean, I think all of the little things matter. I would put an angle kit on a customer's car, but there's like things you gotta teach them and tell them. There's nothing more reliable than stock. But I do think that there's certain things like axles, drive shaft, that can be made beefier to handle more abuse, even if they require more maintenance. That makes sense or not really?
Yeah, no.
Like I have stock 335i and 54 axles in my car. And like
BMW builds pretty burly stuff nowadays.
these are like smaller than a 328. E36, you
Really?
the CV. Remember Charles said, oh, that they're fine.
Oh, but some of them are like gun drilled and stuff, aren't they? These are solid?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You don't know. Okay.
I don't know. So yeah.
He knows about the correct things. That's the things that matter.
So I'm like, you sound like a hillbilly. It looks like working on the car, sort of. And like, if you see me in the pits, it's often bad. I don't care about a lot of things. I will do bad things I wouldn't suggest someone do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not like gonna put pump gas in my car, run 30 pounds boost and blow the motor.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, there's certain things I do.
You drive a mechanic's car because you're willing to fix anything and like do whatever, and you're very capable.
I go
Whereas
hard.
like a person like myself needs the car built a certain way so it lasts, so I don't have to work on it.
Yeah, I would not.
Sounds like we're being
that.
attacked by a pack of bees.
I don't know what it sounds like to you guys. It's literally these electric things behind us.
Yeah.
As long as they don't catch
Oh,
on
that's
fire.
what they're doing. They're doing those drift carts. I was wondering what all that noise was.
James Dean's crashing into things.
Okay, so now extrapolate on that same thing about like transmissions, engines, clutches, types like that. Because you're a tuner.
So everything aftermarket, I would say, does not last as long as stock, but also everything aftermarket sort of sucks, right? Is that what you're getting to? Because I agree, I would say the same thing. Like almost everything that people sell that is aftermarket, it's not engineered. And I have parts, I don't want to call out the company, but there's companies that are engineer owned. That make things that don't work. I am not an engineer, but I have a very good understanding and comprehension of how things work and should work. Like even suspension things, I have a good idea from like seeing it,
Yeah,
learning
you
about
just look at some angle kits and you're like, why is that? That's gonna break immediately. You're like, that's crazy.
Yep. Or like people say like it doesn't, whatever, self-steer, all that. But yes, but I don't know like what's the best angle. You might drive 5 cars and be like, this is the best for this reason. I have no idea. I've driven my 2 cars. But in terms of stock
I think
stuff,
the driver adapts to so much stuff. It's whatever. It's all subjective sometimes.
yeah.
But keep going.
But for the stock stuff, like I would put a better transmission in my car. I would put a better diff. I would put a better axles. But going into it knowing it might not last as long as a stock, but will handle more power, more abuse, more rowdy driving. Like you want something that just lasts forever. So you have like a pro-ish car, right? But at a moderate power level. Like 400 horsepower.
I don't have a pro-ish car.
But like you have a gutted cage car, rear mount radiator.
That's not what makes a pro car.
What would make pro car?
Like quick change rear end and like lots of very specific things to make it a pro car.
It looks, you could look at it like cage,
okay,
rear
sure,
mount
yeah.
radiator.
It looks like I have a race car.
People say I have a race car too.
Yeah. Break some ankles. Oh, that was pretty close.
So.
All right, keep going.
People look at my car like it's a pro car too. It's not. It looks like fancy cage, wide body, angle kit, whatever, but it's stock motor trans drive shaft. So I'm also like in a similar boat as you, right? Like, or not really.
I would say that you're in a really weird quasi state of like, you're a tuner, so you did the things that make sense to you. You tuned a platform that you knew. You made it work, so like you made it port injection, took the direct injection off, and then you utilized all the stock components within the vehicle, either because you didn't know what to do or because you were comfortable with them, and you made something work very quickly within like your realm of knowledge.
And most people can't do that.
And you brought your own style of what you built and everything else into drifting. No one else was drifting M240s.
F80 M3
right.
in America.
No one had a B58 really. It was doing all that stuff except like Papadakis. You did some very specific things, and it's very interesting to talk about with this because literally no one else drives a B58 drift car.
Yeah.
Can you think of anybody?
No, and they're running like a Motec. We're coming at $10,000, $15,000. Like they're doing it on another level. So it might look like I'm super balling out, but like I am doing it at a micro level compared to them. Super, super different. But like once again, it's about knowing how to try to make things work, you know?
Was it worthwhile, like taking out the or the direct injection, doing all these different things? Was that all something that you learned something from, and you're like, I wouldn't do that again? Or you'd use an old M50 turbo motor?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Because like Wout would absolutely say, put an M50 in there, or do an LS. Like, should you have just done a V8? What do you think?
There's like a cool factor, right? Like what's his name? Forrest Wang drives a car that looks super low and it seems like he drives a ridiculous angle for the cool factor.
Okay.
Like he can probably get, I like the turbo BMW motor thing. E36 engine, I'm not saying it's garbage. There's a point at which it lives at 700 horsepower, 800 horsepower, on the street 900, 1,000. There's a point where it lives and a point where like it just can't take it. If you have a BMW where it just lives at 1,200, well, guess what? If you're only at that 600, it's a lot less stressful on the motor. So I think the newer BMW engines are way better than the old ones. The old one's simple. Everyone's like, put an M50 in your car. I had a built M50 ready to go that I just acquired. So everyone's like, put an M50 in it, your car will be so easy. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. But like, the motor would be better. That motor, because it's designed for direct injection, would be better with direct injection. I would make 50 wheel more on pump gas, 100 wheel more on pump gas, because I'm just limiting myself. But it's just like, I just wanted to do it. I don't tune standalones, really. I do stock ECU stuff for a living, sell some parts, it's good. But the standalone stuff takes a ridiculous amount of time, and like, it's often finicky if not done right, wired right. So it's very hard to like tune it for people when like everyone does know what they're doing.
But the stock ECUs don't have all the fail
so
safes
easy.
and safety things built into them that like your standalone does.
Yes and no. That's what every standalone manufacturer, I'm not saying like, oh shit.
Actually, no, I guess new ECUs would.
Yeah, new stuff's good.
I keep thinking old. I'm
E36,
old.
your car can just blow up if something goes wrong. Your fuel pressure fails, it blows up. The newer cars, I would say like 2010 and newer, they have a lot of safeties, but not the same that you can program into a standalone. But like, it's all about using it. Do you think like, how many cars do you guess are on standalone this trip? Half of them, maybe?
Oh.
I have no idea either. Do you think they really have it set up properly? Do you think they paid someone $2,000, $3,000 to do it? Because I know mine are not set up properly.
No. And I think a lot of people I mean, like everything is such a give and take. Like say you set up all those safety parameters and you have the car cut out and do something, could just wreck you. You could be up on a bank, you could be tandeming and stuff, and then the car just cuts all boost or something because it goes in like that 1 degree hotter or something if it's not blended or something, and you just like all of a sudden wreck your car because you come out of drift. I'm sure you felt that in a car before when you just like, it's like,
well, my car shut off, I ran out of gas. I had no fuel gauge. It wasn't, my siphon wasn't working and stuff, so Beam Team Brian hit me.
Oh,
It's my fault, but like the car just shut off. And if you hit any safety, you'll do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Your car just shuts off and there's literally nothing I can do.
Can you blend in safeties and stuff?
So on my car, I have like, okay, I don't have cuts. I have my car overheats or the air temp goes through the moon. I have my boost duty cycle go down, but I don't have like an aggressive boost cut if it overboosts by like a little bit, you know? But if I overboost to like the moon, it will start to cut but the problem is like, that also only works so good. You can still hit a boost cut. I have a guy, I don't know, Cyvex or Life Racing ECU, sequential transmission on E36, car blew up, right, at one point. What happened? The MAC valve failed or something. So even with all these safeties and all these fancy things still break. Like you see all the time, people break cars either here, FD. Nothing lasts forever. It's just about, there's definitely ways to make a lot of things last longer that people just don't know what to do.
Jumping into that, tell me, before we finish up, tell me specifically what is broken on this yellow car or on your F80 and that you've had to fix. What are the specific things that you've broken getting into drifting and stuff and on these cars, and what did you have to replace, or like how'd you fix it so it didn't happen again? Because it doesn't look like he ever has to work on his car unless it's silly stuff, like headlights and things
radio.
Like that. Yeah, radio, just silly stuff.
First drift week, I had random clutch issues. And I don't know if I should call people out or not, but they like.
No, you don't need to call brands out.
I don't know why I mentioned. They did not help me at all. They pretty much told me like get lost, and I was like, can I buy something different? Can I do something different? So I had clutch issues, which is not like a failure. It's just a self-adjusting pressure plate. It was like moving, I guess, a little bit. I had angle kit failure. Once again,
don't call anybody.
Yeah, I'm not. I went wide fab and it's great. I had angle kit failure. Other than that. My axle boot, I had aluminum hollow rear control arms that snapped on e-braking on like a 36, or on like the side load of like the 3,600 pound car.
You e-braked and blew it.
Oh no, it wasn't the e-brake. I would e-brake, I would like flick it, e-brake, and the weight of it, as I'm there, I feel like a pop, and the car would just, the load or whatever. So I upgraded those to a little bit stronger arms, which is like a simple fix. Other than that, my F80 has been very, very, very reliable. This car, I've done nothing to since I put it together.
Crazy.
I have spare axles.
So you could have delivered that to a customer almost.
Yes.
If there wasn't goofy things going on.
Yeah, I would say so. I've had to do nothing. I changed the clutches because my delay valve's wrong, so it slips crazy hard.
Yeah.
So like you have to just time it, right? You like clutch out at whatever. But other than that, I didn't ruin the clutch. Just before this drift week, I just took it out to inspect it and repucked it, like for like 70 bucks and put it back in. Didn't resurface anything. Other than that, though, I haven't really done anything. It's really
amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
But you see me, I get to drive the car, I chill. Lots of people are constantly working on their cars all the time.
No, he does great.
My transmission, Joel from Drift HQ, broke my transmission in my F80 driving like a savage, but it didn't have a great delay valve and it was super aggressive. It was like on an 08R, like not a lot of tire pressure. Clutch kicked third gear, the trans broke, but that could have easily been avoided by different driving or more softer delay valve.
Well, I love the way you do all this stuff. I think you're one of the best characters on Drift Week.
Thank you.
You have a great personality. The car's hilarious. I always talk about how like he's the next Dado type thing where like there's kids that will have like you as their screensaver because you have a modern looking car. Almost everybody drives like a shitbox old, although that's cool now is the 90s shitboxes. Yeah. But you have the newest like BMW, I think in Drift Week with both the F80 and the M240
With BMW wise, yes.
Yeah, and then Duarte
there's other people doing new cars too now.
I know, but like it's different. There's something about a Mustang, you're just like, oh cool, somebody bought a Mustang. And then you're like, oh my God, that guy has like a freaking F80 M3 on track. Yeah. Either because it's so new and most people like the sticker shock, or because they can't believe that it will last because they think it's gonna blow up. Because that's one of those cars that someone's like, oh, I can't buy that without an extended warranty.
And then I just send it.
Yeah.
Like that car had 10,000 miles of drifting, drift week.
Wow.
On that car, which took a lot.
That's crazy. And real quickly as we finish, he had never drifted before, and he messaged me and was like, yo, can I come on Drift Week? And I'm like, this is not for you. And he's like, what if I bring
I'll buy
F80 M3?
M3.
And I was like, you can do it if you do that. And then he took lessons from Chelsea. And then he went straight to Villain Sportsland and was an animal and has just been like, first of all, after watching you drive, I don't know how you survive Villains.
Why?
Because
Well,
you're so aggressive all the time. You don't
The thing
care.
is, there's times where you can try to find that.
Yeah.
And there's times where like, if there's a walled track, like I drove at Englishtown, the figure eight,
yeah.
twice I guess now, I'm not gonna put my rear end over. But if there's like nothing but grass, I try to find the limit more. Like
Every lap he finds a limit.
Like, I think that there's a way for me to drive under it and then learn. Like I've been thinking about it. I want to drive under and like feeling like try this, try that. He went for a ride in my car. He drove it. His face was ridiculous. He was like, he finished laughing. He's like, this is crazy. He was so hyped.
He liked the car?
Oh, he was like, this is amazing. But there's ways for me to get better without just pushing the limit. But it is interesting to find like the limit of what I can do and what I'm learning just by doing it. It's pretty interesting.
How many times did you go off on this trip so far?
Probably a minimum 10.
I saw more than 10.
I don't know. I don't count.
At the first track at Cam's, how many times did you go off on the
Off,
first sweeper?
off?
Yeah.
4, I think.
How many
One
times
tire?
How many
Like,
times
at
did you
least-
put one tire off?
Oh, on the big sweeper, I think 3, not including the 4. I was in the woods.
All right, because I was gonna say I saw him I was like, oh, he might find those trees.
Yeah.
He goes off hard.
So.
But that's the thing, is he's always pushing himself. He pushes himself
In
with
a nice
rad
new
cars.
car.
So
I'll
thank you
send
so
it.
much. Let's get out of here. Let's go do something
good.
else. Boom. I think it's so funny, like James Dean and people are
I
like.
know.
going
I was
through
like,
the
do we tell him to
background.
fuck off?
No. No, it's good.
Oh, darn it! As I said it, I could have my phone on.
And don't forget, you can join us for public days on Drift Week 6. Grand Sports Speedway, we're allowing spectators and extra drivers because it is round 6 of Lone Star Drift. So if you want to come ride with the drivers in their drift cars, meet them, have fun, just check out the cars, come have some fun.